I am going to multitask today. Yes, I am. Today, we're going to have a chat about something that I truly dislike while I freezer bank some pizza rolls. Yeah, we're going to do that. Hello, everybody, and welcome to SuttonsDaze. If you're new here, my name is Lisa, and we are all about pantry preparedness. Because your pantry is the best insurance that money can buy. I wholeheartedly believe this completely. Okay, I'm doing pizza rolls because one of the ways that we save money is to not order pizza out, okay? And Phil loves his pizza. So I have been playing with different things, and we started, no pizza from, Hungry Howie's, Little Caesar, whoever. And instead, let's just get the frozen pizzas. So we found a frozen pizza that we both liked. Okay, great. I really should not be eating them. So yeah, I shouldn't be eating them. And then, the carbs were an issue for him. So we said, okay, I'm going to make pizzas using stuff that we have at the house because I have a pantry. Yes. So I tried making where the tortillas are the crust, like a normal round pizza where the tortillas are the crust. It'll do. Am I totally stoked about it? No, I'm not. But I canned my own pizza sauce. Make the pizza. Okay, I'm going to make the pizza. So that's what I'm going to do. I have been working on pizza roll-ups as a replacement because basically it's the flavor that he likes, So I use my Thrive mushrooms, my Thrive onions. I have turkey pepperoni that I picked up and put a bunch of it in the freezer, cheese, all that fun stuff. So I'm going to make up a whole bunch so that I can freezer bank them so that, guess what? I don't have to cook on Fridays for a few weeks. Yay! Okay, it's a beautiful thing. But while we're doing that, I thought we would chat a little bit about budgeting. Yeah, because it has to be hands down one of my least favorite activities. I hate it. Now, that's not to say I'm not good at developing it. I am great at developing a budget. I will provide multiple links down in the description box for you for different free budget sheets, okay? Everything from let's dive into it hardcore to let's just do a little bit here and there. It really, you have to find the system that works for you. Now, I know a lot of people really like the envelope system. I'm not one of those people. No. Number one, I don't deal a lot in cash, and so it really doesn't work for me. And number two, it for how we live, for where we live, it would involve a whole bunch more traveling than I'm willing to do. I pay 90% of my bills online. I'm just not into remaking the wheel necessarily. So yeah, I'm not going to do that. However, I am a spreadsheet geek. I love a good spreadsheet. I love figuring out the formulas. I love all that stuff. I do. So I found a spreadsheet that works for me because I can change it. I can adapt it. I can get rid of some spaces, enlarge some other ones. I learned different formulas for inside of it because with Excel, anyway. And the cool part is that you can, if you don't have Excel, which, I don't know why most people would have it. But if you don't, you can use Google Spreadsheets. Yeah, it's free. It's cool. So yay, that's what I use. There are also some other ones that I'll link that are not quite as in-depth or torn apart because I track everything. It's crazy. But a lot of people will be like, I just pay my bills. That's it. I just pay my bills. And if I have anything left over, great. And if I don't, okay, we'll figure it out. But that's kind of the more difficult way to handle budgeting. It really is. It's the more difficult way to handle your finances as a whole, because that way you can't really make plans. And I mean, I've lived it and I've heard it, okay, that I don't make enough for a budget because it's just going to tell me how much money I'm short on everything. And trust me, oh God, I get it. I really do. But you really need to be able to look and see, where can I make some changes? Where can I, do some cost cutting measures so that maybe I have a little bit left over? And that's hard. I am not going to lie to you. It's not easy. Okay. And today it's getting even harder. So to me, it's even more important now than ever to pay attention to our money, to pay attention to where it's going, how we're spending it, and to find different ways that we can cut back, that we can be more frugal in certain areas. Because you would be amazed. I mean, how many people with a debit card, oh, I'm just going to pick up here. This little $2 is not going to make a difference. That little $2 is not going to make a difference. And at the end of the month, you're like, wait a minute, where did all my money go? Well, you $2'd it to death. That's where it went, right? So it gives you financial control. Even when you don't think you have financial control, it will give you some financial control. And that, I'm all about control, I'm all about, let's make this work, and let's figure out the best way to make it work. Budgeting gives you a clear overview of your income and expenses, and it helps you take charge of your financial future, your financial situation. I don't know about you. I've been so broke where I felt like I had no control. None, zip, zero, zilch. And that I was just at the mercy of the money gods and what came in and what didn't come in, So, yeah, it really helps you feel more in control, be more in control. It's not a fake perception. It really exists. Okay. Number 2, it'll help you with some debt management. We're going to go a little bit more in depth into that as we move forward. But debt management, a well-planned budget, it will help you. I'm putting too much sauce on these. It'll help you, prioritize debt repayments, I know folks that are in a complete freak out mode right now because things didn't go exactly as they expected they would go. A job did not come through that they normally rely on for extra income. Credit cards are not getting paid. Different things are on the verge of repossession. You name it, right? It's out there and it's happening because life happens. Changes happen. You may not get that job. You may not get that raise. You may think you deserve it, and you probably do, but, that doesn't mean that they've got it to give to you or that they're going to give it to you. Nobody owes you nothing, my friends. Being able to assess what your debts are and see where that money needs to go and plan, even for the long haul, right, on how you're going to manage to pay off these debts, like a mortgage. I mean, when we got a mortgage, it freaked me out. Do you know the mortgage? It just freaked me out. It freaked me out to owe somebody that much money, and that much money on something that literally I needed. I needed a roof over the head, and oh my gosh, now I owe my entire future to this house. Now we are not house poor. We bought right before everything kind of went ballistic, right after everything went ballistic. So we did get a really good price on the house. But it's still a payment, and it's still, it's still scary, quite honestly. A mortgage is scary. Just like a car payment to me is scary. Owing anybody is scary. So a well-planned budget helps you prioritize the debt repayment, okay? And it reduces interest costs if you can figure out a way to do that and accelerate the journey to becoming debt-free, because that is a journey, but it is so rewarding. It is so rewarding. I finally kind of know what it means, when we struggled and we saved and we didn't do things because, to me, it was more important to take that money and put it towards paying off a debt. And then when I sent in that final payment, you know, it was like I could breathe. I could breathe. And that to me is priceless. Now, if you're going to do a budget, one of the things to work on, even though I know it may seem, you know, undoable, is a savings goal. Definitely a savings goal. Because having a little set aside when emergencies crop up, like when you're, what was it? What is it called? It's a part on the car. It blew up. Anyway, it blew up. And we have been without our main vehicle for 2 months now as a result, okay? And they don't make that part anymore. What? Phil? You know? So, okay, great, they don't make that part anymore. But we managed to find one in Colorado. So then not only the expense of the part, which is very hard to locate anymore, but then the expense of shipping it from Colorado to Michigan. I'm like, oh, brother. Okay. And of course, this all happened right around the same time that I'm trying to pay off the vehicle, right? If it wasn't for that savings, then, you know, we'd be hoofing it. Yeah, we would. No, we wouldn't be hoofing it. We'd be down to one vehicle, which is remarkably inconvenient. Yeah. I mean, it's doable. And actually, there was a point where I said, why can't we just go down to one vehicle? I said, it's not like I like going anywhere, you know? And he's like, no, we need two. Okay, fine. So, yeah, you know, I discovered he was right about that one. 2 vehicles for us is kind of a must. With as busy as we are and as much as we've got going on, we need to have that availability. Even if one of them stays parked 75% of the time, you know? So your savings can be used for emergencies, big ticket purchases. Say your refrigerator dies or your sump pump goes out or, you know, whatever the case may be. There are any number of why, you know, did this happen, that just having a little bit of money stuck back in savings will make life a lot easier. I was talking about the debit card, right? And being unaware of how you can nickel and dime your money completely gone. So expense awareness is something that definitely a budget increases because you'll be able to track your spending habits. Now, we don't have a lot of places we can go here. You know, we are limited. It's not like there's a ton. So typically I can go through our bank statement and go, what did we get at this store? Or why did we spend this much at that store 4 times, you know, or whatever the case may be. So I can track our minute spending on my bank statement. So this is something that a budget will help you do. It'll help you be aware of where you're spending your money, where you need to be very careful about spending your money. Maybe instead of stopping at the gas station for a cup of coffee, you can make one to go on your way out the door, you know, that kind of thing. A little pre-planning the night before can make it so that you have coffee to go in the morning and you don't have to spend all that money at the gas station or the coffee shop or wherever it is that you get coffee when you're out. I'm a goal-oriented person. Crazy goal-oriented person. I love having goals. I love reaching for those goals and I love achieving those goals. And the end result is, I mean, you know, the excitement and the sense of accomplishment that I get when I reach even the most minute goal, like, oh, look I didn't eat everything in the house today. You know, something as simple as that to paying off a car, you know, that achievement makes you feel good. It makes you feel powerful. And that's a really good thing. Okay. Let me flip these. Having a budget provides a roadmap, a really easy, nice roadmap for achieving both short and long-term goals. You know, you can look at that paper and you can track what you're intending to do, what you actually did, and how you were able to accomplish said goal when the time came. A roadmap is good. I mean, from somebody who is seriously directionally challenged, okay, if it wasn't for Lake Huron, I'd end up in Ohio every morning on the way to work. I'm not kidding, okay? Having a roadmap for your finances makes life a lot less treacherous. Budgets are a big part of emergency preparedness. So do not call yourself a prepper if you don't got a budget, okay? At least some kind of budget. I'm not talking I don't think everybody has to have the same exact in-depth budget that I do or don't have, but a budget, a knowledge of where your money is going. So by setting aside, by setting aside money regularly, budgeting builds a financial cushion for unexpected expenses. And we talked a little bit about this with the savings goals, right? Because unexpected expenses are always going to come up, always going to come up. And if you're like me and, you know, you're old as fart dust and money has always been a thing, then that uncertainty will keep you up at night. You know, it will stress you out. You will lose your hair. You will be cranky. It will ruin relationships. It will do all those things. I promise you. Okay. So being able to focus on it like your pantry, like emergency preparedness, where every month you're putting just that little bit back for an emergency. That's huge. That is so huge. And I know it's not always possible. I do. I absolutely get it. Okay. But sometimes it doesn't have to be every week, but even if it's $20 a month, okay, something put back for an emergency. Have you been on a diet and you like crashed your diet 2 weeks into it or a week into it or 3 days into it, you know? And so you kick back into it again and you start building that discipline. You start building that muscle that makes it something that you just automatically do. Okay. So improved financial discipline. That is what we're going to call it. Regular budgeting, okay, consists of tracking, planning, promoting your responsible spending. To me, it's definitely one of those things like working out, like getting some exercise, like eating the right things. You know, you're developing a discipline that will help you tomorrow. You may not like it a whole lot today, but it'll help you tomorrow. I talked about this for a minute, but stress reduction. A budget can help reduce stress so much. I mean, one of the biggest things that married couples fight about is money, okay? One of the biggest things that people lose sleep about is money. The lack of money, specifically. The lack of the ability to take care of what they need to take care of. And I think always, to some extent, Grant, I've never been, you know, hugely financial well off, but I think that even if you were more financially well off, that money would still give you that angst if there's something that you really want to do, if there's something that you really want to get and you just don't have the money for it, you know? Yeah, it's frustrating, it's stressful. You feel like your whole life's on pause because you can't do it. And it may or may not be, you may be blowing it up more than it is, or it may be a fact that your life will blow up, you know, because of it. But it's definitely something that causes a lot of stress. And so by budgeting, by following a budget, by taking these things into a practice, right? It will reduce your stress. It really will. Now, probably not for the first couple months if you're just starting, because you're getting all your ducks in a row. You're seeing where the leaks are, you know, and you're figuring out how to plug them up. You're seeing where you're buying coffee too much, you know, that kind of thing. So for the first couple of months, it may stress you out a little bit, you know, but it'll also go, ding, okay, so that's why I can't afford to do anything, because, you know, I'm getting that coffee instead. Now, don't disregard coffee. Coffee's important. The next one is better decision making. I make good decisions. Well, if you made good decisions, you wouldn't be buying all your coffee from the gas station, okay? But I digress. So, it will help you make better decisions. When you get clear insight into your finances, you can make more informed decisions about purchases, okay, or lifestyle choices, or if you get to that point, investing, right? So for me, the purchases and the lifestyle choices, those are big. Those are big. And so by sitting down and really thinking about the decisions and looking at the budget and planning the budget, doing all that legwork ahead of time, then my purchases and my lifestyle choices can either be justified or not justified. And it's amazing if you sit on it. It's kind of like your Amazon cart, right? Who has an Amazon cart with a total of like $1,400,000, right? But you hit save later and you come back to it in a month and you go, because you go on a spending halt and you come back to it in a month and you go, why did I want that? I don't remember. Oh, it was that important. Yeah. Decisions. Now, because I am always interested in becoming the best me that I possibly can, right? Doing everything that I can to ensure that we are healthy, that we are happy, that we are covered, it's super important to me to keep growing, right? So budgeting can be a foundation for growth. It really can. You can build up that budget. You can build up that knowledge and those decisions. And it really is the starting point for building wealth, whatever you call wealth, right? Or allowing strategic investments or for future financial stability. Because that last one to me, financial stability. Yeah, that's a sensitive one, right? Because for most of my life, I don't think I have been financially stable. There's always a worry. There's always a concern. And there's always I hate owing people. So becoming financially stable to me is like the optimum, that's the gold medal in growth for me. And maybe one day I'll hit it and maybe one day I won't. And then I sit here now going, well, things are okay. We've hit some speed bumps. The savings account's a little low right now, but I can build it back up again over time. But what about in 10 years when I'm 69? What about in 20 years when I'm 79? Because I'm planning on being around that long. What about in 30 years, potentially? What am I going to do then? That's my gold medal, is knowing that I've got those years covered, I don't know that I ever will, but it's definitely something that I strive for, and that's something my budget helps me work towards. So I said we were going to come back and chit chat a little bit about debt, right? And paying off debt, paying down debt, paying it off early. That's always a beautiful thing because interest sucks. But they are doing us a favor by loaning us, this money for the purchase that we want, whatever that is. And, but it's straight up anxiety for me. I hate being in debt. I hate being in debt because anything that I'm going into debt for is something that I need, like a roof over my head or wheels under my butt, So I take it kind of seriously and worry about it because without those, there's a lot of other stuff I can't do, like earn the money to pay the debt. So first you want to start kind of like you do your pantry, okay? You want to do a comprehensive debt inventory. And you want to go through and list all of your debts with your balances, your interest rates, your due dates, so that you can clearly understand what your financial obligations are. Well, I know that, Lise. I don't need to put it down on paper. No, really, you do. You really do, because you don't truly understand what it looks like until you've got it all down on the same page and you're going, whoa, okay, well, that wasn't what I thought it was, So, inventory. Now it's time to get some of them off there to cool off. Look at. Okay. I got the big ones for this. Yes, I did. So definitely it helps. It helps to inventory your debts. It helps to put it down, write down all of that information about them so that you have an honest to goodness, clear view of what you're dealing with. I am having so much fun with these roll-ups. Okay, the next one is to, develop the tailored budget. A budget tailored specifically to prioritizing debt repayment while still covering all of your living expenses. So okay, that you have XYZ that need to be paid every single month, and then you've got this one big debt, and you want to pay that off as quickly as possible. So how can you do that? Well, it may mean cutting back on luxuries at the grocery store. Not necessities, luxuries, okay? Well, if you can't get any joy out of life, get joy out of life by walking around the block and being debt-free. Do not get it out of a box of Twinkies. It doesn't help anybody. And you want to pay attention to high interest focus because predatory lenders, oh man, I'm telling you. So I'm going to tell you a little story. I'm going to tell you a little bit more than you need to know. Not a whole bunch, but a little bit more than you need to know. So Phil fell in love with this truck, right? And it's a cool truck, but if you've heard me say it before, I need a vehicle to start and I need a vehicle to stop. And after that, I don't care. But his vehicle was getting to the point where it wasn't starting and stopping. And so we had to get a new vehicle. And he found this truck and he was over the moon. He still is over the moon for it. And so, okay, we're going to do that. Now, I have worked very hard to get our credit rating up there, okay? It's good. I have a good credit rating, and I intend to work very hard to keep it there. But because of the age of the truck, my bank wouldn't give us a loan because it was more than 20 years old. Are you serious? Take out a home equity loan. No, I am not taking out a home equity loan for a vehicle. No, because this is not a long-term. No, no, I've got all my reasoning and then some. But no, I am not taking out a home equity loan. So they're trying to talk me into that now because I need to get a tractor. No, it's not going. It's going to be on its own little thing. Sorry. But so we went to the dealership and the dealership hooked us up, okay, with a lender. And as I'm reading through everything, I'm like, are you kidding me? Well, okay, because my intention was to pay it off quickly anyway. Okay, I guess we'll go with this. And it was for a ridiculous interest rate. I mean, stupid, right? Now, could I have avoided this by getting a home equity loan? Yeah. Could I have avoided this by getting a newer car? No, because this was an amazing deal on this car, and we would have paid a lot more, a lower interest rate, but a lot more for a newer car. So no, that's not even an option. Sorry. So the first time that I called this lending institution, I said, I am ensuring that everything that I pay you over the amount that's due monthly goes directly to principal. To learn that they were charging us daily interest. Are you kidding? I somehow missed the mark huge, and we ended up having a loan with a predatory lender. Now, they still got their pound of flesh out of me, okay? They still got more interest than they deserved, but we paid it off, 4 years earlier than we, were contracted to. So, yeah, even with good credit, sometimes you have to watch those decisions. Sometimes it's just not good. Anyway, so you want to look at snowball strategy. I love this term, snowball strategy, because we're still getting more snow. Yeah. So alternatively, consider the snowball method, right? By paying off similar debts first for quick wins that boost motivation. So if you have a credit card with $300 and a credit card with $1,000 and a car payment that is, $10,000, which one are you going to pay off first? you're going to pay off the $300 one, because then woo woo, and then the deal is to stay off that card, okay? And then you pay off the next one, woo woo woo, and then stay off that card, okay? And then you work on paying off the big one. So hit the low hanging fruit always with everything in the world. Hit the low hanging fruit first. It keeps you motivated. It makes you feel accomplished because you are. And it snowballs to build up the momentum for you to get the big stuff out of your way. Okay. Another one. Don't be like Lisa. Okay. Negotiate terms. I am not loan savvy by any stretch of the imagination, in case you didn't gather that. I am much more now, but yeah, no. So, you want to negotiate the terms. Contact your creditors to negotiate lower interest rates, or more flexible payment plans, or reducing the overall burden. And sometimes they'll work with you. I'm not saying they will all the time. I'm saying sometimes they will work with you. So it doesn't hurt to call. What's the worst thing they're going to do? Say no? Tell them, say, hey, I'm struggling here. I want to get you your money, but I need to be able to keep a roof over my head. So how can we make this work? And talk to them. See what you can do. The worst they can say is no. Some people will tell you automatic bill paying. Now, as a person who is very familiar with scraping the bottom of the barrel every month. What I can tell you is I hate it. I hate it because if something comes up or if you forget, it pulls that money out and now you have overdraft charges and all that other fun stuff, right? But if it makes sense for you and if you can track it, then automatic payments is not a bad thing to set up. And most of the time it's free to set up at whatever financial institution you deal with. So you want to ask them about it. It's not one of my favorite things to do ever. So you have to decide if it works for you. Okay. The next one is debt consolidation. If there's still a possibility where somebody can, help you out a little bit because you're trying, doing your do, and you're just not quite meeting it, you might be able to look at a loan or something that allows you to consolidate all the debt. Now, you've got 3 credit cards and you've maxed them out. And so totally you owe $10,000 or something. And so you talk to the bank and you say, hey, I would like to consolidate these and see what they have to say. See what their plan is or their possibilities for a plan are, right? And if the one that you talk to doesn't have anything that'll work for you, then definitely talk to another one. If it's something that you can do, then you would get a loan for the $10,000. You would pay off those 3 credit cards and put them away, okay? It's not to go spend more, definitely. But then you have one payment at a much lower interest rate because credit cards are predatory lenders. And then you can work on paying off that loan for the $10,000. The credit cards can be there for an emergency, but I'm talking like life, death emergency, Otherwise, you're not helping yourself out. You're just repeating the bad habit that got you to the point where you had to do that. And that's not the point of this. Expense tracking, huge way to keep track of your debts, to keep track of, how you can pay them off earlier. And that's where your budget comes into play. Your emergency fund, even if you're trying to pay stuff off early, your emergency fund needs to be a priority. It really does. Because just because you have plans, you know what they say about the best laid plans, right? And the next one is to celebrate the milestones. Okay, so if you do it, if you borrow $10,000 and you pay off the first 25%, celebrate that. Pat yourself on the back. Don't go buy yourself a new car. Pat yourself on the back. Take yourself out to dinner, because it's a rare thing that almost never happens because you're paying off that $10,000. So you want to celebrate them, recognize them, reward yourself small for achieving the debt payoff milestones, right? And maintain motivation and keep tracking your progress, because you are a rock star and you can do this. Just in case anybody is wondering, I am not a financial advisor and I don't play one on YouTube, okay? What I'm telling you is that financial preparedness is an important part of your preparedness. It's an important part of making sure that you are covered in emergencies. And I know it's not easy. And I know it's painful. And I know that some people would rather go have a root canal, you know? It's still something that's got to be done. Ducking and avoiding potential problems, bad news, doesn't make them go away. It makes them grow. So getting a grip on it, being aware of it so that you can strategically plan how to move through it, past it, above it, beyond it, is everything. It really is. Be sure to check out the links down below to a bunch of different budget possibilities, right? Most of them are probably going to be in Excel, but like I said, if you don't have Excel, it opens in Google Spreadsheets. So that's a huge bonus. Look at different ways that you can learn to budget. Find YouTube channels that talk about budgeting. There's a ton of them out there, literally a ton of them out there, because we can do this. We can. I'm not talking about becoming wealthy or retiring early or any of that stuff, right? I'm talking about we can make sure that our bills are paid and that we have a little set aside for emergencies, and that potentially tomorrow is going to be a little bit easier because we sacrificed a little bit today. If you want to check out different ways that you can save money on stocking your pantry, check out this playlist right here. Until next time, everybody, be safe, stack it to the rafters, my friends.